Hello, everybody. Good evening. This is Dr. Rao coming to you for the second day on the same topic that we want to talk about, which we were really talking about it yesterday about how can we really tap into the ancient wisdom about several of the stresses that we have. One of the things is about uh, our personality development, what kind of traits we can learn to develop an inner core that is strong and really uh, gets us to cope with the stresses and strains that we encounter because of the technology, because of the way of life, the fast pace that we have. I mean, this is all very common, right? But people are paying a big price for not really taking care of these things very early. I kind of always look for wellness, right? Proactive wellness. That means you are putting a lot of time into really working towards your wellness by not just preventing, but even studying our habits of life, the way we do regular things. One of the common things that I see with the people that I help is that they complain to me lots of times. We understand all this, but then we are not able to really restrain ourselves, and then we react very easily and very quickly. The hurts, the insults, the whatever they encounter, that kind of takes them off their base completely, and then they may say something, they may do something that they regret very much afterwards. Okay, and then lots of time that can lead to lot of consequences in their work, right? The promotions, the politics, all those things. So they create a lot of enmity, lot of. I'm not saying you have to be a doormat, but what I'm saying is how you can really see why do I have to react to somebody else's stupid comment, somebody else's not knowing the culture, and then they are doing that, right? That kind of thing. So I was working on this topic where modern IT people, modern physicians, modern any of the people that are working with this information mania that's going on, right? So many times. So uh, my thing is, when you study something like the ancient wisdom, it's not about just reading it, just to understanding it, but how much that understanding, that wisdom that you learned is coming into our life. So that is what it is all about for me. So it's not about knowing that we are knowledgeable or how much we have read, how many things. Those are not important. What is important is this wisdom coming to us in our life, in our work, in our relationships, in our creative things. Whatever you do, if that wisdom comes through you, if you allow that wisdom come through you uh, during those circumstances, that's what. That's why I'm talking about this personality development from ancient wisdom. Yesterday, we talked about three things, three different things, right? Number one is, first of all, can you engage in your work rather selflessly? That is the unselfish work. Can you do that? even for a certain time, or certain percentage of time, not all the time. And can you be really attentive and mindful to whatever you are doing? And the third thing is, how are we doing in terms of good and in terms of bad, in terms of success, in terms of failure, in terms of gain, in terms of loss. Okay? All the mm, times, if you are going to be equitable, equanimous, that's the one we want. We don't want to be reacting very quickly. But then the culture is building up for dopamine shot, right? Somebody has to like you, and somebody has to give you a like comment. Then you feel like so much of this social media conversations are very superficial, and they don't make any difference ultimately, right? People come and just want to just talk something and go, or listen something and go. But then, if you don't care about those likes and comments and all those things to feed your ego, then you can be stable, whether people like you or not. You just have something to contribute. You come and present and go. But then, in work situations, in situations where people are really seriously doing something important, and somebody rocks them from their base, where they are cool and collected, but they get upset emotionally, really feel bad, and not able to focus on their work, that becomes an issue, right? So that's what I'm saying. For that, you need to have a mechanism where you are attending to your inner resilience. If you can do that, then whatever the circumstances, but you will be able to be stable in that. You see, one luxury thing for the ancient had is they had uh, life that is everybody is imbibed in this culture of inner turning, knowing oneself, and valuing that more than the entertainment. So they were not listening to the entertainment. They were looking for enlightenment. It's much easier for them because they didn't have this distraction. But now, take my case, for example, when I was growing up in India, the only entertainment we had was going to a movie theater, right? So we were not going all the time, but once in a while. But then entertainment elevated to a degree that it has spread all over there, right? So, but when I discovered what is enlightening talks, what is enlightening readings, what are enlightening experiences, then entertainment don't have to be there, so that's a discovery that everybody has to discover for themselves. So if you are looking for enlightenment, you need to question some things. You need to question, what is going on in my life? What am I doing in my job? Is that the same thing that I want deep inside me, that is what really makes me work? Or I'm feeling so empty, that's why I'm doing some things to fill that emptiness, but I don't really care about other people. What I am talking about is, if you can really see that you are not really empty, you have a perfection within you, and get in touch with that, then with that strength, you go and then you give strength to a lot of people, right? You can be there as a friend, you can listen to them, you can really do some guidance if you have some expertise, and then you can also respect people and make them grow on their own, right? All those things are there. So inner looking, questioning inner things that we have. Many people have so many things that are unresolved: angers, frustrations, grudges, hurts, so many things. They let them grow in their inner being, okay? And then they don't answer to them properly, in the sense they don't erase them completely, or they don't find a solution and put them away. Okay, what is important is, don't harbor any of the days negatives in you, but you know, nullify them before you go to bed. Okay, so the inner resilience of very very important in the present day modern fast paced society, and also too much of information coming at us, and then we don't know how to handle all of that thing that is going on within the mind. So that's where the ancient wisdom was very very good. They always talked about coming from inside out. That means you develop the strength from within and then come. So if you are an impulsive person, a reactive person, understand that why it is so and what it is. If you reflect on it, you will find the answers. So we talked about unselfish work. We talked about mindfulness. We talked about equanimity in pains and pleasures at the same time. Just to take one issue and then see what is it to be selfish, what is to be unselfish, why do you have to be selfish? Everybody wants money before they do something. Why do I have to be like that? You know, all those things you have to explore for yourself. What is good for you, what is important for you, not in the good in the sense that will satisfy your ego, but beyond that, you know, how come we don't have the benevolence, benefactory attitude towards other people? You know, why do we have to have everything ourselves? You know, when you compare yourself when you're living in the United States, if you compare yourself to the people who are living in Africa, Asia, South America, so or even now Gaza, Palestine, any of those unfortunate areas, if you compare yourself, we are way well off. Then, once we are content, but way well off, what is it that we can do for those people that are unfortunate in the world? Okay, so that's a very, very important thing to consider by ourselves. Okay, we have to find out where we are, what we are thinking about it. Do we ever think about it, other people? That kind of thing. So unselfish work has a lot of important ramifications when you practice that, not only for you, for everybody else too. But then the second thing is why are we so restless? Why can't we pay attention? Why can't we pay attention? So this sort of questioning opens up that. And then when you find the answer by your own investigation, that becomes authentic and it stays with you. Okay, and the third thing is always important to be stable when good times come and bad times. But mostly what happens is when good times comes, people go up, and then when the bad time comes, they go down. So either way is not good for them psychologically, right? And once you are not stable inside, that comes through because external stimuli, external things that will happen, you really have no control. They go on happening there, right? But how you react to them is the important thing. And then there are so many things people are looking at, but to help them, they are getting a lot of gadgets, a lot of devices to help them. I heard about a um, earbuds that you could keep, and then they will stimulate the oracle, the ear, inner ear, and then it will provoke the vagus nerve, and then you will have the deep breathing effect on the same thing. Okay, those kind of external aids are coming up, but I always want to have that kind of thing naturally without the help of any of these devices. You know, um, for example, Calm app was there for several years, and my patients asked me way back 5 4 years ago, "Sir, how do we not use the app and then be on our own?" Very few people ask daily because most of the people are happy that they got an aid that they can use. So they are so lazy or so difficult for them that they don't want to do these natural methods that are like, you know, take a break, sit down at one place and be still and try to do that a billion times a time. Don't go after the phone or the TV or any of the external stimuli, right? If you start to do that, that will be good. Actually, it's a wonderful thing to be able to sit with yourself. I can sit for hours, right? So it's a treasure that I think we were not shown before, and we should discover it ourselves. So take one day, and that one day, technology-free day, declare it in your own personal space, and see how much time you can be without technology, and you can get engaged in walking or gardening or just watching the sunset and sunrise or just go out explore nature or go up on a hiking without any phone and all that. So many things you can do without the tech getting in for you. That will be wonderful. Then also discover, can I put my phone away and be in a room by myself for at least for a few minutes in the morning and in the evening? And then don't let your mind go all over, but then rather enjoy that quietness if you can, and then see if the mind is going all over, why is it going. So there's so much you can investigate about yourself the moment you want to be free of the tech for day 1 day. If you can do that, then a lot of things come up. First of all, you'll find, oh my God, I can't even stay for a few minutes. How can I stay for 1 day? Then you say how many things we are reaching out there, but not reaching in there even one time. Okay, it will be very revealing. I can guarantee you that. What you'll find depends upon your conditioning, your own development, and the kind of energies you have. Suppose you have rajas energy, that is the kinetic energy that makes it run and do things. You know, then you will be doing a lot of stuff because your nature is that. You know, and that's very good. But then that goes out of whack, and we are thinking too many things too fast and too little time. Then your mind will be in trouble. Okay, so finding yourself on a single day and going inward and really staying in that center, which is really uh, centered and strong and resilient. And once you discover that you have that within you, why do you have to go and find out there in things, in activities, in people, whatever, right? So that really gives you a very psychological independence. You are not dependent on things, matters, people, meetings, and all. You can do them afterwards, but then I'm just saying you better experiment for 1 day, be free without technology. Maybe I will do a workshop with people how they can be with themselves without having anything extra. You know, Basically, you can eat and drink and sleep and stay with you. Don't even read. Don't even listen to TV program. Don't to listen to phone. So everything, just cut off everything for 1 day. And then see what happens with your thoughts. Where are they going? And see how do you feel. Do you feel bored, or do you feel excited, or do you unconsciously, without knowing, run into the technology? Because many people, they take up technology unknowingly, unconsciously, right? They're not like a deliberate even. It's like the moment you wake up, you look at the phone. The moment you go to the office, you sit on the computer. And the moment you do some repeated entertainment, you switch on the TV. All those things. Nowadays, everything is in the phone, by the way. But this is a preliminary thing that you want to understand ancient wisdom, and why they were always having fantastic discoveries within themselves, because they were not going outward with their intellect, with their senses, to explore something outward there. Okay, so So it's a question of understanding ourselves, not really being judgmental, not saying we are better than other people or anything like that, but just this is called self knowledge. How can you know yourself if you are not there? If you cannot even spend yourself. So this ancient wisdom was developed because of the people who kind of wanted a simple outward life, and then they turned inward in a cave or in a mountain, in a house, and they were kind of away from the how general society in an effort to study these truths and then understand. So reading the books came out later, but initially they were getting all the wisdom from their teacher, sitting close to them and listening to them and asking them questions, right? Then they were able to go into meditative awareness. And that meditative awareness made them look into perspectives beyond the analytical intellect, but more like a intuitive awareness of, oh yeah, this energy is this talk is like this, like that. They will get into a lot of things. So shutting down the chattering mind and sitting with that awareness, that in a meditation, they discovered a lot of truths about the world, right? So they were able to discover the truths and then spread it to them. That was there all the time. Okay, so it's a question of exercise. You want to start, I am very much for that, because one thing I discovered was when you really turn inward and you find that quiet space and you discover that it's very joyful. And after that, you will be going towards that, not to this superficial that we still can do those things, but at least some habit of in the morning and in the evening. If you can say, I don't want to touch any technology, I want to be with myself, that would be a very, very healthy thing. Okay. One of those things they talked about in developing personality is reflect on the things that are going on outwardly, and then don't take judgment on anybody that easily. Reflect on situation, reflect on what's going on, and then gather all the facts. Then you can judge properly. Then you would feel bad that you have done something wrong to somebody because you are hastily determining those. No hastiness, just be deliberate, slow down. For that also, you need to calm down your mind. So in so many ways, to discover something new or to understand something properly or to do anything, you need the silence within your mind. Okay. So when you do that, these things, unselfish activity makes sense. Mindfulness makes sense, and also the third one, equanimity during the pain and pleasure is makes sense. But they all lead to ultimately in your inner self where you settle down. That's very, very nurturing, very, very calm and peaceful, and also very joyful and bliss, right? Once you discover that space, it may be fleeting in the beginning. That's okay. But it is kind of, as you get used to that kind of atmosphere, like where your body is not shaking, your voice is quiet, and then your mind is not shaking. So when you have all those, then you will be in your real serene joyful self. Once you are there, decisions will be much better. Okay, I think it's very relevant to the modern age because we have too much information coming at us that is really keeping our mind occupied all the time and keeping the mind run faster and faster and faster, which is everybody is discovering, oh, I am getting all this chatter, I'm getting headaches with all that, many of the modern things that I see, people are getting neurotic. That means they do the same thing again and again, even though they know that's not good for us or not right for us. And also, people are very irritable and not really nice to other people, right? That is there too. And then people are getting depressed. because they are not getting what they want. And then they want to pursue superficial tasks that may not may be sensible for them down the line. But at this time, they want to compete with somebody, keeping up with the Jones, right? All those things we know. But with this aggressive technology-based society, a lot of human suffering is happening because we are not getting technology under control. I'm not against technology, but what I'm saying is how we are using technology, we want to take a look at. And then I use the technology, but then I don't really be slave to the phone. I can leave it, and then I will be happy to meditate, or I will be happy to just, I don't have to meditate. I'm in the meditative awareness most of the time. So my mind doesn't run like we used to. I know what it feels like when you have the mind that is running all the time. It doesn't anymore. So it's a question of understanding these practices and deliberately giving up those habits that kept us chattery, or impulsive or irritable and all those things. Okay, so when you look at this personality development, where from a person who is really selfish, his mind going all over, and he gets elated when he has something good, but he gets deflated when something bad happens. All these things are current phenomena for society. A lot of it because of the way we raise the kids, the way we allow the information to accumulate, and the way we don't do this pause and take control of our own mind. Okay, so there are other things like we think we are separate from other people. We don't understand what is that we are one energy we are all in, and we don't even know who we really are. We are that permanent inner self, that has taken a body which is a cloth, mind which is a cloth too. Like we change our clothes, we change our bodies with that energy. And that is the ancient wisdom conclusion. You have to know who you are. You are not this body, you are not this mind, but they are only your tools. Once we understand that and establish ourselves in our real self, then thought will be under our control, and lots of things will be much better. Okay, so hi Nazli, how are you? So it's all a question of looking at things in a different perspective and understanding them, and then going towards that. Okay, yeah. So anybody has any questions, or people are there on the wisdom app too? So I am preparing another talk for IT executives especially, and this is about their particular problem, because being an informatician, I happen to work with a lot of IT executives. When we are talking about EMRs in the hospital, what happens is I have to implement EMR, and I'm very enthusiastic because I save a lot of time, and also it's good for the patients because all the information is legibly written, because of the it's all digital, and also it can be available from long distances, and it can really speed up the inner workings of the hospital. Okay, I can be somewhere in the hospital, I can enter an order in the EMR, and the nurse who is close to the patient will pick it up and deliver it without me calling, without me going there and all that. So that helps a lot when we are really busy in the ER. So I can be in the ER, but about the patient I saw half an hour ago, I can start doing the admitting orders so that the patient won't have to suffer for delay of the. So many benefits are there, right? So I kind of took fancy to the EMRs and then learned them, and also teach them. Okay, you learn best by teaching them, right? So I learned about being simple, being focused on what are our duties that we are doing, and learn only those. Okay, we usually see patients in the ER and admit them. We do follow them, put a progress note every day, And also when the patient gets discharged, we do discharge summary. Meanwhile, we do the ordering and everything, right? That is there. And apart from that, go to the patient, see them, examine them, all those things are there. But keeping them all organized helped a lot, actually liberated time for me to spend with the patients. So that's why I embraced the technology. I learned it. Each hospital you go to, because I'm a hospitalist, right? So I take contracts and then I go 6 months at a time sometimes. So I go to different hospitals of my choice, right? When you go to different hospital, they have different EMR systems. So I have to start learning too. But then I made a habit of focus on only the important things that I do, and don't listen to the bells and whistles that usually everybody else tells us. We hardly use that because there is unnecessary burden, right? And also have a system to continue to learn it, right? So that kind of adoption of the technology is okay. But then the IT people told me what they were having: the headaches, the insomnias, the lack of energy, exhaustion, the depressions, the anxieties, and so not able to keep up with the deadlines. There's so many things that they told me, and also there are so many people are very upset with them, many doctors and nurses, because they were not able to do their job properly because of the EMR is not cooperating, or they are mad because the EMR has increased them rather than decreasing them. So all those things are there. So because I see both sides, I'm a physician, I know how the physician feel. I'm also IT, so I know IT people how they feel. But we are all human beings finally. It doesn't matter which profession we are. Once I take that attitude, it makes much simpler for me. I'm a human being trying to solve the problems of other human beings. Maybe their particular line of work will make them feel like that. So once you understand that, you can always help them. Because in that spirit, I'm developing this videos. I think it's a series of 8 videos, rather important, right? What is the problem that the IT person is asking me to solve, and how do the ancient wisdom solving that? For example, somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, I have so much strain on the eyes. How can I get it off?" Simple things are simple. Well, of course, we always try to check it out. Modern. Evaluation and make sure there's nothing seriously wrong. But if it's high strain, everything is caused by too much focusing on the small screen and for a long time. Simple things like, don't be at the computer or whatever for several hours staring. Break it. Break it, and then next what you go is deliberately go and rest in a way that you close your eyes and you rest. Suppose you are starting to work with the computer in the morning, 4 or 5 hours later, you just break it, and then next go, and then for half an hour. It's best to put some ice pack also on the ice. The contraction that happens because of the ice provides more blood supply and all that too. That is a very simple thing. I can give the scientific explanation of that, but the simple thing is take a break, go and lie somewhere and close your eyes for a while. Or put an ice if you want. Take that strain away right away from the eyes. And then you'll be good to go for another 6 to 7 hours in front of the computer. People don't do this. They think it's all crazy. But people do develop the eye strain. People do have this headache and all that, right? So like that. They could have some people have this anxiety and palpitations because they are not able to do their thing before the deadline, and they have consequences if they don't do the deadline, and they have consequences, and they have to carry this around the 24 hours. What do you do that? So I teach them to be in the present for that, so that you are not anticipating your goal. This has to be done and all that. You kind of focus on how best I can focus on here now and get these things done to my best capacity. Then I will be probably I may finish even before the deadline. But if your performance will go down when you are really worried anxious and your heart is beating and all that. People are going into lot of cardiac arrhythmias because they allow these things to go on continuously, and they don't know how to take a break, how to put this data down in their mind. Okay, so like that, so many problems I uncovered. I want to cover them so that other people who may have them or who may anticipate that they will have them, they have them like a, you know, simple tips for the stress of IT professionals. Okay, that's what I'm working on. So many of the these common problems don't allow them to mushroom into bigger problems. So there's two things you can do. If you can control how you're going to be aware all the time, and when you sleep, how you can put everything aside and sleep deeply and get up. And that will be a wonderful way to your body have the chance to recover itself. In the sleep, both the body and mind recover, right? So I'm going to talk about what is the what are the measures to optimize quality sleep, not just sleeping there for 8 hours and tossing, turning. What is the quality sleep? How you should do that, and how it is going to revive your body and the mind. That's also will be there in that. Okay, that's why it's 8 chapters, a big effort. But I'm sure people will appreciate that if they listen to me on that. So, hi Alka, how are you? I don't know how much you listened, but I was talking about there's personality development, So, okay. So many people have questions regarding the personality as a whole, but then you can maintain a good, kind, nice personality when dealing with people. That's civil, and that is courteous and all that, right? But then if you go deeper into that, okay, having a good personality where you are kind of unselfish, or you're kind of mindful, you're kind of equanimous in pain and pleasure, that's all okay. But then also having this understanding we are all interconnected, we are all one energy, that's also important. Also knowing who we are and staying there rather than in our mind, in our thoughts, in our emotions, in our body. Those are our tools. Right? That's all okay. But then, if you necessarily have to go to the spot where you say, am I my personality, or am I beyond my personality? That's something that individuals have to explore it, because they're too tied to that. So, oh, I'm so good guy, or I'm such a hero, or I'm such a master, an expert in this particular skill. All those things give them a shadow of what they really are. That's where the whole thing lies. The whole thing of ancient wisdom is you are not just your body, you are not just your mind, but they are tools of your real self, which is behind these two tools. Once you have that, and once you are stationed in that, then automatically you will be kind, you will be compassionate, and you will be uh, really helpful to people. And also, you will be able to perform better in your job because you are more focused, and so many good things happen. And the biggest thing is you are the healthiest when you are self-realized. You realize your true self. That is when your body and mind are the healthiest. I went through that several times, but then we can go through that again later once I talk. But this time I took IT professionals, IT executives that were working with me for so. See, there are so many people work out there because non usually I end up in the leadership position in the informatics area. Then I have to deal with the computer people on one side, and doctors other side. So we have technological needs of doctors, who are, ICU, where is, we have to deal with a lot of equipment that is important, right? And then where on the other hand is what is the system the hospital had, what kind of new things that have come on the market, and how can we make things easier for everybody. Equipment. So, for example, there is a weight machine that we saw. Denmark people came and showed me. The moment the patient gets on at home on the weight machine, and we were able to record this in our EMR through radio frequency, and then we were able to see whether it is in the range or not, and immediately it generates a call. If the patient has gone up more than this many pounds, he's supposed to gain, not more than that. And then we know that he's out of whack and what is something happened to him. Maybe he took so much of salt or did not take the diuretic or whatever, right? Like that, I just gave you a small thing, but then there are bigger things too that we have to deal with. And also cyber security. That is also there too. So there are a lot of headaches when you deal with this IT involvement in so many ways, right? So I'm not just going to see my patient come. I'm getting involved in the operations of the hospitals, operations of the IT department, operations of the quality department, and all that. Okay, so having a clear, concise mind is very helpful. I don't allow my mind to be overwhelmed, overburdened, and that's I think this is a real gift, really given to us by the ancient people who taught us what is meditative awareness. Remember, I didn't say mindfulness, I didn't say meditation. I said meditative awareness. That means your real nature is not in the production of proliferation of thought. Right? Thought is a separate function that happens in the awareness. So you are to begin with awareness that doesn't have any thoughts to control. That's why it is meditative. So be aware, be in the moment, be here, be aware. And then you may not even need to do deliberate meditation. But that's a very, very, very late stage. So I'm sure that many people don't understand that. But you just see yourself. How is my mind? Am I having too many things going on? Am I rushing from one to other? Am I having so many things I have to deal with? Okay, I'm not that. My mind is rather quiet, and I'm really focused on my important things, and I was able to do that. And then I was able to leave it and be quiet by myself. If you can do that, that's very good. And then you can slow your thoughts. You can see a negative. You can replace them to positive, and then you can really be in that silent space and get absorbed in that. See, one of the important things about ancient wisdom is how can you be free while you are alive? Can you be free of all this nonsense and then be really quiet and established in your wisdom? That they said three things are needed for that. One is uh, you got to have this knowledge about how to reach the self-realization, and then you got to really understand the deep-seated desires and coming up, and then they are not really bothering you. And the third thing is you got to reach that no mind, manonasha they call. Second desire is vasanaksha, and the third one is the tattva gnana. That means the real knowledge of what we are and all. I mean, these are Sanskrit words, I know, but then these are very important and established traditions for thousands of years. But the thing is, they are not lessons to learn. You got to learn by investigating into these matters by yourself. Not somebody is giving you some instruction. You got to actually do the real reflection, real watching, real understanding, and real experiencing. Not having theories about it, but real experiencing. That's where I think many people don't have the time, or they are already beyond that, or their minds are really occupied with so many things and all that. Okay, so it's a blessing if you can do it. Once you see that, once you are established in that, there's nothing like it. You don't need any drugs. You don't need any of the anybody's grace, or somebody is blessing you. All those things are kind of unnecessary for the modern man. The modern man can use his intelligence, not intellect, intelligence, and be intuitive about their own inner process and process. Once you have that, it doesn't matter how much. I heard AGI is almost done and it is here, and they're having discussions about it. And in the next 6 months, will be really gearing up for that AGI. Okay, so everything will be done by the machines, and then we'll be really relegated to the to unemployment. Probably that is what they are talking about. Okay, so that also I'm going to talk about in this mm, ancient wisdom for IT professionals. What are we going to do when the AGI really hits and really takes over everything, so we will talk about that. It's not hypothetical anymore, it is going to be reality very soon. Okay, so we will look into that. Okay, anybody has any questions or want to come up? Nobody wants to come up usually. All right. All right, then I will talk to you again tomorrow. So thank you.